Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and this is the OnePlus 12. This is the latest iteration of OnePlus's flagship model, and so I thought we'd unbox it and take a first look at it today. This one is supposedly in emerald green and also has 16 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage and says it's in flowy emerald. Let's go ahead and unbox it. So let's cut these pieces of tape here. We'll open it up for the first time and see what we've got. I haven't seen this, and let's go ahead and open it up. There we go. Now, I've been looking at OnePlus phones since the original. In fact, I have the original in the box right here. We'll take a look and compare it in just a moment. But let's go ahead and open this up and see what we've got. So inside the box, they include a couple different things here. So we have, it looks like a USB-C to USB-A adapter. We also have, of course, the normal paperwork, a SIM card removal tool there, and it says, welcome, OnePlus, quick start guide, safety guide. We've got some stickers and a membership card. So that's here on the back. We've got that membership card, and then also a thank you note inside the box itself. So that's something you don't see every day, but that's something that they've actually put here. And if you want to pause it, I'm not sure why it's having a problem focusing, but if you want to pause it and read it, it's available there. Now let me set this aside and take a closer look. So we'll take the phone out of here, and you can see it's in emerald. We'll set that aside for just a moment. Let's pull this out of the box here. And we have a charger in the box and USB cable. So we've got the typical red USB cable. It's USB-A to USB-C, as you can see there. And then also we have the Super VOOC charger. Now this has 80 watt Super VOOC charging, and it also has wireless charging as well. We'll talk more about that a little bit later, but this just shows you the charger itself. Let me set this aside and we'll take a closer look at the phone. So here's the phone itself. Let's go ahead and open it up. Now, as you can see, it's this emerald green color. Let me remove the sticker off the back here. And I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of this. It also comes in sort of a black color as well. I may have preferred that, but either way, this is a huge camera module or bump on the back. And let's go around the outside edge and talk about the design. Unfortunately, I can't turn this on, so we can talk about the software a little bit later. But this is the design, pretty typical of what we had before. It's got USB 3.2 Gen 1 as far as the actual speed. We have a SIM card tray. Let's go ahead and pop that out and see if we have dual SIMs or anything. So we'll pop out the SIM card tray here. It does not have expandable storage. We do have a little gasket around it though. You can see the SIM card tray, so it does have a dual SIM capability, physical dual SIM it looks like. Then let's place this back in. Then again, we've got some microphones, speakers. On the right-hand side, we have a power sleep wake button. We have a volume rocker. On the top, we have an IR blaster, which isn't something you see every day, which is really nice. Another microphone and possibly speaker here. And then, of course, the switch on the side, which is something I really appreciate about OnePlus. To silence your phone, mute it, and just sort of use it, the volume or whatever you want altogether. Now, this is 220 grams or 7.76 ounces. As far as the specs go, well, let's first show you the size compared to the OnePlus. This is the original OnePlus I have in the box, and I think I've used just about every OnePlus phone since their introduction. Maybe I've skipped a few since the 7, but I have it in the box. You'll see how they used to package it, where they had a separate box for the actual charger. Let's go ahead and remove this here, and I do miss this sandstone finish on the back, but let's set this aside and just kind of compare the overall size of it. So here's the original OnePlus One. So you'll see it there, a little bit shorter than the new one as far as width. It's very similar as far as width. So that just gives you an idea of what it looks like. However, the new one definitely feels quite a bit heavier. So very different looking. We don't have curved glass, which I actually prefer the flat glass, but either way, we don't have curved glass on the edges. And that just gives you an idea of what it used to look like. As far as specs, we have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. Like I mentioned before, we have 16 gigabytes of RAM. We have 512 gigabytes of UFS 4.0 storage. It also has a OnePlus developed Trinity engine, which is supposed to make this super smooth to use, and it has an upgraded cooling system as well, which should help with charging, that very fast charging, as well as when you're gaming and other things. We have Wi-Fi 7 just like last year, Bluetooth 5.4, and of course NFC. Now the display, like I said, I can't turn this on, and it's something I would love to show you, but it's a 6.82-inch 2K display that runs at 120 Hz, but goes up to 4,500 nits of brightness. It's probably the brightest display I've ever heard of on a phone. OnePlus was nice enough to actually talk about PWM with this model, and while it does have it below 70%, it's at 2160 Hz. That's 10 times higher than what you have on maybe a Pixel or an iPhone. So it really shouldn't bother your eyes. It's all about that eye comfort with this. They also say it can handle 120 Hz in all games with what they call hyper rendering, and then they have what's called an aqua touch. When the screen is wet, it lets you use the display still. The battery inside is 5,400 milliamp hours, which is a good size, bigger than what I've used in most phones, and it has 80-watt SuperVOOC charging, like I mentioned. So with the included charger, the 80-watt charger, you can charge to just 50% in 12 minutes. So 12 minutes with this charger will give you 50%, or 30 minutes will bump it up to 100%. 50-watt charging is available called AirVOOC if you want wireless charging, and it goes 23 minutes for 50%, 55 minutes to 100%. So faster than an iPhone to 100% even with wireless charging. And it should stay nice and cool, as OnePlus has actually been really good about the overall cooling in their devices. Now, of course, we have this huge camera module, so let's talk about that for a moment. Now, it is a Hasselblad branded camera. You can see we have a periscope zoom there and some flashes and things like that. But the actual camera itself, the main camera, is a 50 megapixel f1.6 wide with a Sony LYT808 sensor. And then we have a 64 megapixel 3x telephoto zoom lens. So we have that, as well as a 48 megapixel 114 degree ultra wide. So some pretty nice things there. We have a pro mode. We also have an upgraded algorithm for HDR. It has a Hasselblad portrait mode and can record 8K at 24 frames per second or 4K 60 in Dolby Vision HDR. So it has 4K Dolby Vision HDR, just like an iPhone. So we'll have to see what it's like as far as the video recording. When it comes to the forward-facing camera, this isn't a huge difference here, but this is a 32 megapixel f2.4. Again, we've got really great recording capability, and the overall phone itself should be pretty high-end as far as the flagship. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm not allowed to turn it on, and I really don't like when companies do that. There's not really a reason for it, but this is before they technically have their announcement, so maybe that's what it has to do with. But either way, I was allowed to talk about the specs, and I just can't turn it on to share with you. So I figured I wouldn't turn it on until after this video so that I can start reviewing it at that point, so I could share the unboxing sort of experience with you. Other than that, I think it's a great phone. Again, I'm not crazy about this color, but let me know what you think about it in the comments below. I really miss the sandstone feel of the original. I liked it, even though it's very different from what you typically have. It's incredibly grippy. Of course, that tiny little camera is very funny compared to what we have now, but that just gives you an idea of what it looks like, what its size is, and what it actually has as far as specs. So pretty high-end cameras, pretty high-end specs altogether, and I can't wait to use this to see what it's like. If you'd like any specific comparisons, maybe something you're not finding elsewhere, let me know in the comments below, and I'll try and include that in a full review maybe a little bit later on. Now, if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.